Hi everyone, this is Frans. I'm Minister of Church of the Earth, and so today we're talking about what an interesting subject: nature's dreaming. The word dreaming and even nature is much like the word magic. It's very elusive. It's got a highly charged, quite a strong connotation to it, which most people can't, we can't even imagine to live up to those states or those big words. Um, so we really try and move around them with ideas or with thoughts. The main idea with any kind of dreaming, as with magic, is that we want to make it practical. So how can I practically embody this thing called magic? How can I practically be in a dreaming space that allows me to take care of daily life, while I'm doing the magic, while I'm doing the dreaming? And it's not an easy thing to speak about. It's more easier to experience it if you start digging into the many layers. Um, it's like an alchemist, we don't just pick up base elements and then transform them into gold. It takes a certain skill, a certain practice, and it takes something of the other world that really helps inform us into what this substance of gold would then eventually be or look like. So I'm gonna try to do some justice to this term, nature's dreaming. In traditional cultures, we find that people always dream and they listen to their dreams. Um, we can argue and say, well, okay, so do ordinary people. We go to sleep at night and we dream. What's the difference? For traditional people, we actually take our dreams and we look at it from different angles. We look at it as each character within the dream representing a part of ourselves. We also look at it from a perspective of what if this is the other side, um, or the other world, or the spirit world, coming through and relaying messages. In Africa, we use the term ancestors to connotate anything spiritual, anything that's got a spiritual connotation to it. In the Western world, our vocabulary is much more broad. Excuse me. Um, so what is dreaming in this reality? Is it just nighttime dreaming, or is it actually waking and also dreaming? Um, to answer that question, we have to kind of go a little bit inward and a little bit almost like in a trance state. We want to zoom our focus out a little bit. We want to squint our eyes. We want to look at what is the energy feel or look like behind a person or a thing. Um, we want to glean information from that. And then once we've got some picture or some image, some um, inner configuration, for lack of a better word, forming, we can start placing those pieces together to make a bigger picture, like a puzzle, like puzzle pieces. Um, nature dreaming, earth dreaming, the same thing. Nature's dreaming all the time, right? What does that look like? Do we imagine a being in the earth that is lying down sleeping, and they are dreaming this planet? And if so, why is the planet such a mess? Why have we of humans lost our way the way we have? Is it this being to blame? Is it, what is it? Um, because then we can just create another God in the sky and say, well, you to blame for everything. You the father, we the children, our life is in your hands, blah blah blah. And so we divinely mess up. We either miss the mark, or we in line with this creator. So it's kind of the same thing when we say Mother Earth, when we say Panchamama. Are we giving our responsibility and our own dreaming, over to this being and saying, well, I'm just guided, I'm just going to steal that person's wallet because it's kind of there, they left it there. Is that right or wrong? Do we, you know, um, is there morality in this dreaming? So we've got to look at ourselves as well. We've got to look at ourselves as as some sort of co-creators, even if we don't see ourselves as natural custodians, which we are. We are custodians of the land. I heard a beautiful argument um, by a Native American elder um, who was being interviewed by a white American. And the question to this elder was, do you consider yourself to be a Native American? And he's like, no, you are Native American. You were born on this continent, right? And the white man said, yeah, but we know you as the Native American. You're the Indian guy. And the elder looked up at him and said, no, I'm Lakota. I'm not Native American. You are Native American. So in a way, we are each Native African, we are Native American, we are Native European, we are Native Australian. So we are by nature custodians and inherited, hires of this land that we are on. We are custodians. So we do have a role to play. Don't we dream and create all the time? The answer is maybe, but do we actively, consciously co-dream with the planet, or with Creator, or with a group of people? Remember, a lot of people don't travel except if, like, to South America, they appoint in their group of people traveling to have ayahuasca ceremonies or sacred pilgrimage. They appoint one person dreaming who does the sleeping on behalf of the group, only for that person to awake from time to time and maybe grunt or snore or utter something, and it's very relevant to their journey. So this person does a lot of work on behalf of the group. I've seen this a lot in family constellation work, where participants become very sleepy, and then actually one person would start nodding off, right? In a way, we could say they are the dreamer of the group. They are embodying, they are representing something of a sleeping quality, something of a dreaming quality, without which this natural world is not informed. So we really use the dreaming to inform on a deeper level what we're going through. Even if even if we say that is psychology, that is subconscious or unconscious being made conscious, that person is really connecting to something deeper than we are. And they're able to, let's say, do things on behalf of the waking or the living. When we say, okay, nature is dreaming, how else can we co-create with the spirit of nature? We do that through ceremony and through ritual. Ceremony, in the broader definition, meaning a group of people doing sacred work together. A ritual, one person. It's a personal thing. It's a ritual. We usually, nature dreams with four bodies, or we dream together with nature with our four bodies: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. What is it to dream? What does it look like to dream mentally? For me, that's the scientist, that's the biologist, that is the anthropologist, it is the architect who works with landscapes and who configures things in in alignment with the environment and with the ecosystems and with other systems that we don't normally focus on or include. The emotional would be, do we sometimes walk through a landscape and we feel a sudden gust of anger or shame or some sort of, let's say, joy, let's say happiness, excitement. And then we only take a few steps further and we don't feel that anymore. That because we can say that's the political layer or the eco-political layer of that landscape, which is really just a few layers deep, but it's very real. So then we've got physical dreaming. We are walking the land. So like the native Australians, the Aborigine people, they walk the dream time, the ley lines, or the dream lines of the tribe, and they would keep that dreaming awake by singing the lines, keeping them clean, keeping them clear, and also keeping them vibrant for the next generation and also for the rest of the tribe. We could also just make an offering and walk out the back door and ask our bodies, where do we go with this problem? We've got a problem and we say, well, okay, I'm going to walk this problem. That's an ancient way of problem solving and getting to some clarity of any issue. You take a little bit of tobacco or some cornmeal, or just a hair at the back of your neck. Offer it and intention. Okay, body, spirit, I've got this issue. Blah, blah, blah. This is who I am. Here we go. And then you walk. You let your body take you. And that is physically dreaming with, call it your field, call it nature. Spiritual, what does that look like? Spiritual for me is it's usually when the big elementals come in. It's when the big forces come to speak, and they don't whisper, they speak loud. So we're speaking about the fire dragons when there's a big bushfire. We're talking about the water dragons, tsunami, rainstorms, floods, air when the wind is gusting and we can't put a foot outside without being blown back in. Or we walk in a certain direction and the wind says, no, we're not going to make it easy for you on this one. The earth dragons, what would that look like? Earthquake, volcano, which is kind of more like a fiery element. But these things have a voice. They have a loud voice. When a bushfire moves through a place, through a land, there's a clearing happening. And you can actually sit down and tick the boxes of everything that has been affected by that fire, and then how that relates to your personal life or to what's happening for you. Maybe there's some ashes of your mother's buried on the same land. and voices of hers been whispering in your head. And after the fire, it's like, whoa, that's cleared. It's no longer there. Um, Constellation and field work. If you've studied any constellation work or participated in a constellation, family constellation, systemic or shamanic constellation work, you have encountered this idea of the morphic field. We all have an invisible field of history, accumulated accumulated experiences, which doesn't just belong to me and I. It's the bigger picture. It's my family. It's where I come from, family of origin. It is the tribe that I belong to, or the tribe that I don't belong to. It is the workplace. It is the marriage. It's the home life, the home family. It's the pets. It's the animals around you. They all hold a part of your field. So how can we participate and see clearly what is being dreamed around us, or what is being kept as a, let's call it as a library, as a history book of past events. In traditional way, we speak about clearing our dreaming bodies, and that usually takes the shape of sweat lodge, meditation in a very simple form. It can take steaming, where you undress over a pot of boiling herbal mixture, herbal water, and you cover yourself with a blanket, and then you sweat your prayers. It can take on other forms of smudging, clearing your energy body with a wing or with smoke. You can chant, you sound, whatever affects your energy field, whatever you feel brings you in closer contact with your heart, or with your different bodies, so there's some sort of alignment happening. So alignment to self versus alignment to self with a capital letter S. We When we speak about alignment to self with a small letter S, it could be with things like, okay, I'm feeling hungry. And after you've eaten, but I'm still hungry. I want ice cream. Oh, but I want chocolate. Oh, I'm craving this. Isn't it such a common thing that when you're feeling slightly emotional, I feel like chocolate, give it to me. Or, I like people who look like this, but not like that. I want their skin color to be like this, but not like that. That is usually self with a small s. Um, it's very political. It's very easily swayed. It gets triggered easily. It's that knee jerk. Well, yeah. So the self with a bigger S is obviously the one that says, okay, there's a deeper thing going on here. It's either spirit, it's ancestors, it's myself, my heart, or it's just deeper layers. There's much more to the picture than we are consciously aware of. And we are aware of that. We take time to listen to people talk. We don't have the answer before they've even finished speaking. We don't try and give everyone advice. We let them. We don't wipe every tear that comes our way. We allow people to cry. We allow them to be human and to express, which is a birthright. Not all of us has realized the potency of that birthright. And not all of us are granted space to express without receiving advice or receiving comfort, or whatever we think we're trying to do for them. So the self with the big S is, we can say that's where we connect with the divine, where we connect with God or Goddess. And that is what changes reality. That is what has an impact on the environment. So when we want to dream with nature, there's a certain alignment that needs to happen. There's a certain surrender and a giving up of the small self, which is always lonely. It's never enough. In a lot of corrupted traditional society, like in Africa with the local Sangoma, there's a common theme that one sees. There's always a theme of never enough. And this really speaks to the shadow component of magic and witchcraft and all that stuff. The same could be said for any politician or for anyone who puts a lot of value on financial success and accumulating wealth. It's never enough. I'm not enough. My money's not enough. My magic is not enough. I don't know enough. I'm not initiated enough. So coming home to self is with a big S is very, very important to be a custodian or a true custodian or a good custodian with nature. Nature for me personally is a spirit. It is a divine being that we're all a part of, or we all cut off. We mostly cut off from it. But nature is a reflection of ourselves. So when you build a mandala using little plants, you could afterwards you could analyze that and say, well, this is a mirror of what's going on inside of me. It's the same as creating an artwork, but nature is a very pure reflection of what's going on inside of us. So nature dreaming is clearing your mirror, clearing your image, so that you can look with a good set of lenses. You don't add too much. You don't take too much away. You see things as they are, and you try not to interfere too much. And nature is much older than we are. So when we doing big work, spirit work, it's important that we take time to listen. We take time to look at the signs of nature. We take time to investigate our hearts, to see what's going on inside of us. We take time to have a good repertoire with the spirits, with the helpers, with Creator, with people. We don't just launch and jump in as an egoic entity. If you cut your hand while you're working, look at while you're helping people, what are your motives? What's happening there? Are you taking that blood that's on your hand? Are you taking it to the earth? Or are you quickly washing it under the tap and just bandaging it up? Why not use that same cut as an offering? Say thank you to Creator. This is what the old people used to do. Sundance, we give of ourselves. But we don't want to do that as a martyr, as a shadow savior being. We're not martyrs. We're not here to suffer for others. But if you're making something as an offering, it's different. It's more powerful. It's more pure, and it's coming from a good space. I hope you enjoyed this Zoom call, and join us on Church of the Earth for upcoming teachings. And please consider to donate for us on our website. We are a non-profit organization. See you soon. I hope.